wanted to do a response video to someone I was talking to on another video. Her name, I'm not gonna name her name in this video. I don't need to. But the topic is, it's just basically on this story. It was on this story about the down low community, and some wild murder story. Anyway, my contention and everything was, well, someone was trying to say someone kind of like, well, I guess I could say the whole situation. It was just a story about this lady who, before she died, she made this Facebook um, live about some guy she was dating was gay or something, and then she got killed. And some people were saying that she was like homophobic, and basically because she was so hateful, she got what she deserved. But then other people were saying like how wrong it was and stuff, what happened to her. And like for me, I just think a lot of the time this kind of like opened up a topic that I responded and saying like, you know, people seem like they act like people who are like homophobic aren't allowed to be homophobic. Like they're not allowed to exist. But I feel like a lot of the time people who see it this way are the same as people who are homophobic. Like homophobes usually act like homosexuals shouldn't exist, you know? And I kind of am like the opinion that like I don't think that homosexuals should not be in existence, and I don't think that homophobes should not be in existence, really. Like, I think, like, that, they both should coexist, and I feel like both sides disagree with me, like, one side doesn't like homosexuals, and one side doesn't like homophobes. For me, I kind of am like, let people, we're never gonna purge people of having a certain idea. Some people are gonna be homophobic. Some people are gonna be homosexual. Not accepting that these two dichotomies are gonna exist and live in the same country and in the same society, it kind of like makes it where we're always gonna be at odds and fight each other, and we're always going to be saying the same thing as the other side. So, like, people who are pro-homosexuals are saying homophobes deserve to be killed in cases like these that I mentioned earlier. And homophobes will say homosexuals, well, we know what they say about homosexuals and how they deserve some things that they don't really deserve. So, from my point of view, I've always just felt like, why can't we just accept that each end and each extreme is just as poisonous as the other extreme? There is no better extreme, really, in my opinion. They're all the same, generally. I mean, if you don't accept people because of the way they believe, that's what you are. You're the same as the other side that doesn't accept a type of people for how they believe and how they carry on their life. I think the major problem of why, like, the homosexual side has a problem with the homophobic side is because a lot of homosexuals agree with homophobes. And I know a lot of people are like, how dare you say that? I don't know. To me, I mean, like, if you agree with them, you agree with them. It doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that you like the same sex. You are having more of a problem of, like, trying to come at peace with it all, like, come at peace with the fact that um, you like your same sex and you think being homosexual is wrong. You have a feeling it's wrong. From my point of view, I've always been like, to me, I see homosexuality as like heterosexuality, and I never understood homophobes, and I never understood homosexuals who feel like there's a problem, like there's a difference. I don't understand that. Like when I was little, to me, I always thought, shouldn't a man and a man be able to marry just like a man and a woman should be able to marry? That's just how I've always thought. I think it's internal guilt on the homosexual side that makes it where they like to control other people's thoughts and other people's choices and who they associate with and who they decide to refuse, right to refuse service and things of that nature. To me, I think that homophobes should have rights, basically, to, they should have a right to be homophobic in their personal life, and a homosexual should have a right to be homosexual in their life. Homosexuals should have the right to marry. Their partners, their husbands, their wives should be acknowledged just like any heterosexual's husband or wife. That's how I see it. It's like, you know, that's their life. They should have rights to be as homosexual as they are. And someone who is homophobic should have every right to be as homophobic as they are. And I'm not saying, obviously, being homophobic includes killing anyone or hurting anyone physically or anything like that. I'm saying like they have a right to express their First Amendment. I mean, their First Amendment right. I thought I said Second Amendment. I was like First Amendment right. Um, and they have every right to express their right to, refuse service to their private businesses, in my opinion, and they have every right to refuse them to be in their private lives. Things of that nature. And I mean, like, with that said, I mean, with the whole, like, cancel culture, I think both sides should be able to cancel out whoever they want. If people don't want to be around homosexuals, that's their right. If people don't want to be around homophobes, that's their right. Me personally, how I live my life, I kind of am just like a free for all kind of like homophobes. I come from a family where I have a lot of homophobes in my family. And it's always like, to me, like, it's like that's their opinion and stuff. That's how they see things. I agree with them on some levels. I agree with bathroom bills. I agree with, like, right to refuse. I agree. I'm not for hate crimes, really. I think all crime is crime and it should be held to the highest level and the highest penalty. So, I mean, that applies to all crime. No life is more important than another. We're all equal. And in part, I think that's why I kind of like see homophobes as not like lesser human beings. Like how people try to make them seem like they're lesser human beings. I don't see them as lesser human beings. I see them as people with different ideology than another person. And, homosexuals are people who have a different ideology than them. And honestly, like, I agree generally with homosexuals with, on the ideas of homosexual lifestyle. Um, to me, I think that they, like I said, are the same as heterosexual couples. Um, I think people are born, gay, they're born straight, they're born bisexual, they're born polysexual, pansexual, or they're born transgender, etc. I'm not going to name all the other identities many people have as far as gender identity and sexuality. Um, so I generally agree with the LGBT community on the outlook. I just also agree that there are other people out there other than LGBT people, and they aren't less valuable than LGBT people. We're all equal. This is another reason why, for me, I never really believed in like civil unions or domestic partnership, because to me, I feel like basically heterosexual couples, the only way we're acknowledged is through marriage. So that's the only way that homosexual couples should be acknowledged, in my opinion, because we're both equal. We're not like, no one's better than the other. So you can't think like one person, one type of people can basically get benefits because they've lived with their partner and they're considered a domestic partner, while a heterosexual couple, if their domestic partner, won't get the same benefits. You see how I see it? To me, it's just equality. No one is better than the other. LGBT isn't better, and LGBT is surely not less than, in my opinion. So that's generally how I see everything as far as the idea of like homophobes and homosexuals, and how I feel about that story. I feel like a lot of people demonize homophobic mentality and like less friendly homosexual ideologies. I feel like they tend to be like demonize them so much that they try and act like those people aren't worth living, like those people's lives aren't as valued, and that they shouldn't have to be so concerned about their worth of life because they just have a different view and outlook on someone's uh, sexuality. They're entitled to their own views, and this is a free country, and I mean, why do we even really care what anyone thinks or feels or says about homosexuality? To the point where we would say that it's justified for someone to not live anymore because of their own opinions. When in society now they can marry, they have all the rights that we have. So, I mean, we shouldn't be policing anybody's thoughts. We should just let them have their opinions as they are. Um, that's all I'm gonna say on this. I'm done, and I'll end on that note. Thanks.